I get asked this question a lot. Does a high school state title matter or count, or does it guarantee you a college wrestling scholarship? Depends on the state, and it depends on the class too, right? So if you're in class 3 in Illinois and you're in Chicago, you don't even have to win a state title. You're going to have good Division I schools after you. California, you don't even have to win a state title. You place one time there after you. New Jersey, probably the same. There's one state champ in New Jersey. Obviously Pennsylvania. A few years ago, 36% of all of the Division I college NCAA All-Americans came from Pennsylvania. That's over a third. Now, what if you're from Mississippi? You can be an undefeated 4-time state champ and probably no one's going to even notice. I'm not knocking Mississippi. If you're a state champ from there, you should be very proud of that. But it's like being a state championship football team in New Hampshire. No one really cares. Now, what if you're a state championship team in Class 6 in Florida or Texas? Probably a bigger deal, right? So, if you want to wrestle in college, and the reason I'm saying this is because parents don't know, and they're like, what, how come my son's a state champ? We've been investing in this. This has been the plan, free college. I don't have 200 grand. We did this. Now where's the money? Where's the colleges? Where's the phone calls? How come I go online and I see these other kids getting recruited? My kid, he won the state title. It's kind of tragic, right? I feel bad for people, and I get calls and stuff like this all the time. But that's the deal, okay? I will tell you, in Class 1 in Missouri, you can just wrestle a few months a year and win a bunch of state titles. You won't make the team at Lafayette High School or Francis Howell High School or a big Class 1 school. There's a few in Kansas City. There's a few in the St. Louis County. There's one in, Hickman High School right now in Central Missouri, Class 4. You will not make varsity unless you are putting a whole lot of time in. And it's that way in certain sports in certain parts of the area as well. You will not make the volleyball team in a Class 4 school in Missouri, and many Class 4 schools, unless you are a very, very, very good volleyball player. You will not make the soccer team. You go to St. Louis when you're fighting against those Catholic schools, you're not going to make the soccer team varsity. Sure, they may give you a spot when you're a junior and you sit on the bench. I mean, it's almost like certain sports, certain areas, certain parts of the country. Now, I'm sure lacrosse is much more competitive in Maine than it is in New Mexico. And if you're a New Mexico lacrosse player, do not get your feelings hurt. I apologize. I'm sure you're very good. But let's be honest. They play lacrosse in the New England states. They play football down south. They wrestle in the Midwest. Some wrestling in the Midwest is better than others. So, does a state title count? It counts for you, but it's not a guarantee for a $150,000 scholarship to a college. It's just not. Unless you're from one of those elite level locations, okay? And those places. You can even be in Illinois. We just had a kid, Tyson Waftel. He's going to the University of Wisconsin, our 37th Division I wrestler. It's January 2024. He's our 37th Division I commit out of our wrestling academy, not our camps, our academy. These are kids who just train with us 1 to 3 times a week. Not all year round, but these kids are training year round, right? You don't go Division I if you put in, if you 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th is 6 years. 6 years, you're taking 8 months off because you think year-round wrestling is not required or needed, or you think it's child abuse. I mean, I heard all the comments. I don't care if you wrestle year-round. And people say, you preach year-round wrestling because you just want your camps to fill up. Dude, these kids go 8 months a year without wrestling, some of them, but they squeeze in a 5-day camp. The camp industry doesn't depend upon my Facebook post, all right? So enough with that. And I literally don't care if you play football, lacrosse, if you did cheerleading and quit, you played softball, you just went wrestling, you quit wrestling. We just had a kid quit wrestling. He's wrestled us for 3 or 4 years. He wants to do MMA, Central Missouri. And I was like, fantastic. Tell him hopes he has great success. And, we're looking forward to following his MMA career. He's in 8th grade. Maybe he'll be the next Conor McGregor. I don't know. It's not my job. So I don't care if your kid's wrestling off season. I don't care. I don't care if they play football. I don't care if they join acting. I don't care if they love math or hate math. I don't care. But what I do care about is the confusion, because it's almost child abuse when people tell their kids, if you win a state title, you're going to get to wrestle at Ohio State and I'm going to save 150 grand. But they're not doing it on purpose. They're just ignorant. They don't know. They don't know. So how does a Class 1 kid from Southern Illinois like Tyson end up at Wisconsin? He goes to the big national tournaments and he goes toe-to-toe with the best guys in America. And people notice and they like him, right? So, yes, a state title matters for you, but it's not a lottery ticket for a $200,000 college degree. And no, you don't have to win a state title if you're Class 3 in Illinois. Don't have to. You can be a one-time placer in California. Division I schools are probably going to be after you, okay? And I'm going to give you a little hint. The college coach, all the state tournaments are in about 2 weekends. The famous college coaches, well, not even the famous one, all college coaches, the local Missouri teams, right? Like Truman State, Central Missouri University in Missouri, they go to the Missouri State Tournament because that's where they recruit all their kids from. Sure, they may pull an Oklahoma kid or an Iowa kid, but for the most part, I don't think the Mizzou coach even goes to the Missouri State Tournament. These people, all the big colleges are all recruiting. They got 4 or 5 guys, and they may go to these certain wrestling states. They're not going to go to the Arkansas or the Montana or the Wyoming state tournaments. They're not. So you say national rankings don't even matter. I say that's the attitude that gets you not recruited. It does matter. How are they going to shop? Are they literally supposed to go into every single wrestling room in America and stare at and evaluate every single wrestler who's a junior or senior? No, they're not going to do that. College coaches go, let's see what the state rankings are in Illinois. Let's see what the state rankings are in Missouri. Let's sort it by Class 4. Oh, no, let's look at the Fargo results. Let's look at the kids who made it in the top 32. The round of 16 at Super 32s. My nephew did. He's going to Oklahoma State. He didn't place there, but he's in the hunt. So they're like, hey, this is a guy who we can do something with. He's only a junior. He's got 2 years of high school left. Then a redshirt. He's got 3 years until he's going to potentially be starting there. These college coaches do look at the results. Now, they don't look at the results of the Mississippi District Tournament in Class 1. They don't. I'm sorry. They don't have time. But they're going to look at the rankings nationally. They may look at the state rankings in certain states. They will look at, National High School Coaches Association. Now, sure, if you just want to go to Truman State in Missouri, you don't have to do this stuff. You just have to be a state medalist a few times, contact the school, right? Maybe win a state title. But if you want to wrestle, let's say at one of the top Division II schools in America, one of the best top 5 NAIA schools in America, the top 3 junior college schools in America, any Division I school, then in those cases, you're going to have to go to some of these big tournaments and do very well. You don't have to win first. You don't even have to place. But if the guy that got third beat you by 4 points and, you were in on the legs 3 times, they're like, hey, this is a pretty freaking good kid. The guy that got third is already signed. He's going to Purdue. And if you have, a recruiting person working for you, like Trevor, who works for me full time, he owns a college recruiting center. I'm not here to sell you. You don't have to do it. It doesn't matter to me. But if you have him contacting coaches and saying, you place at Virginia Beach, you probably don't need Trevor. But if you're one of those other guys, these coaches aren't going to study all the WrestleBack results and then cross-reference that to who plays. But if we go here and say, okay, it's like last year, Pearson Manville, he's ranked number 1 in America in high school, right? He's out of Pennsylvania. I had 3 kids beat him last year. And Dave Cross lost by 2 points. Colin Arch beat him, Carter McAllister beat him, and who else was that? Was that Santino? Beat him? 3 guys beat him last year. Okay. And Dave Cross lost by a point. That's all in 2023. Now he's ranked number 1 in America. He's like ranked, top 10 in all of America last year. Now all of those guys are going D1. They're already there. All 4 of them. Carter, Dave is Mizzou. Colin is Northern Illinois University. Could have went almost anywhere. And then Santino's at SIUE. So if you go to these tournaments and you go deep in the brackets, but you don't place, but you can say, hey, the kid that got 6th, we beat in the state finals 2 months ago, but unfortunately it didn't happen, and we wrestled here, and he did a great job, and he went 4-2, and his 2 losses were overtime, and he didn't place, but this kid, and then you can sort of use like the best buyer's marketing strategy, and you can sort of let these coaches know that, hey, we're sort of like this common opponent thing, and I beat that kid and he did that. You might want to look at him. That's what college recruiting is about, and it's not a full-time job, but it can be pretty busy. But it's your job. It's your job to have some of those matches, okay? So, make sure that you're doing that when you go to these big tournaments. Don't say, oh, I didn't place. I suck. I can't ever wrestle in college. Look at how these guys that did place or almost placed did. That's very important, right? So, that's sort of like the backdoor way in. Hey, you go win 3 world titles in high school. You don't need any help. You win a state title in California. You better change your phone number. Coaches are bothering the shit out of you. But as far as state titles, and it depends on where you want to wrestle, some of these things are going to weigh into the equation, right? And you just have to sort of determine. And again, I'm not knocking anybody. I won a Class 3 state title in Missouri back in the day. I tell everybody it was a joke. My son's a 2-time medalist in Missouri, and basically had a state title. If they had match review, it would have been a state champ. I won't go into that. It's very frustrating. But he could have wrestled in college, decided not to. And now he operates our jiu-jitsu business and so forth. But, he was someone that went into Virginia Beach, didn't place, but he was like, the number 8th ranked guy in America overall. Ty lost like 9-4, 9-5, but literally had 3 takedowns and just couldn't finish. And a bunch of college coaches were watching because they knew who I am, and I was like, you guys should watch my son. So he had a good inside track, but he did the job. They're like, dude, your son's freaking tough as shit. I told you. All over the guy. If he could have finished, he would have won. I'm like, I know, he's freaking bad to the bone. You better start calling him. Ring, 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 right? So it's still your job to go into these tournaments and go deep in the brackets. Hopefully win, hopefully place, but if not, make sure that you're toe-to-toe, and then you got to take that and contact these colleges, And I will say, if you wanted to utilize our college recruiting service, whether you want to go junior college, Division II, Division I, doesn't matter. Trevor does a great job. We're over $5 million now in college scholarships earned. I started all this like in 2005, worked my ass off for 5 years. I quit. I was like, I don't give a shit anymore. I can't do it. Started working with just my athletes, and then I just quit it all, besides a few of my guys. And then Trevor, I'm like, dude, this is a necessary business. You should do this. And so now he crushes it, and, you know, kids, he's helping a lot. So PurlerWrestling.com, College Recruiting Center. Trevor will help you guys. But, you know, there's some insight. Oh, like I said, you know, you should be proud of yourself if you have success. That's a good thing, but just don't think that it's a shoe-in. You know, I had a very famous coach. Everybody, I bet every famous coach in the world knows this guy. Everybody who follows wrestling, he's that famous, like in the world. He's like, Nick, I can't say this. Parents call us, email us. He's like, I cannot say this to them because it's just not right. But you don't have to be that good to win a state title in some states and some of these classes. But I can't say that to them because I don't want to. It's just not my place to do that. But I do get tired of the phone calls and emails, and people like cannot believe that I'm not recruiting their kids because they won a state title or they're a 3-time state medalist. I'm like, I know, they don't freaking know. They don't have a clue. He's like, it's such a tough place to be in. Because I can't say that because it is demeaning, and they should be very proud of their success. But there's no $200,000 college degree attached in wrestling career, at my college especially, attached to that. And they just don't know. So that's one reason I like putting these videos out, just to educate people, just the way it is. Okay? So rewatch this, make a few notes, come up with a plan, and then get after it. It's very competitive. And you can always check us out at PurlerWrestling.com. Thank you guys.